All right, grace and peace to you, Living Hope Neighborhood Church family. Happy Memorial Day weekend. I hope that you all have a great weekend. We got beautiful weather for it. And I just wanted to check in on this weekend to let you know that we, as a church, and in particular, me as your pastor and some of the different ministry leaders, have been having ongoing conversations and different meetings via Zoom call to discuss what it might look like when we are able to gather again together as a church. And so in this video, I wanted to communicate not so much some of the particulars that will come, but I wanted to communicate just the posture that we're wanting to have as a church and as a church leadership as we navigate some of the uncertainties and ramifications of the coronavirus as we look to gather again in the near future, whenever that is. So, here's some of the principles, here's some of the guardrails that we're using to guide our conversations. Number one, we want to be prayerful. We want to continue to lift this up to the Lord, recognizing that He is our greatest source of wisdom. As I shared in last week's message, Proverbs 16:9 says, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." And so as we're planning, as we're thinking, we just want everything to be saturated in prayer. We want to be prayerful. Secondly, we want to be informed. We want to be informed. And for us specifically, that means we're going to lean into the county health directors. Contra Costa County has a really helpful website with all of the information we need as residents, at least for Living Hope Neighborhood Church. We reside in Contra Costa County. And so we keep referring to that and looking for the new directives that our health director is putting forward. In addition, the CDC just released, I think just yesterday, some new guidelines for churches to consider as they prayerfully look to gather again. And so we're seeking to be informed. In particular for us, that's looking at what the county is putting out and referring to the CDC guidelines. Next, we're seeking to be others focused. Let me remind us of what Philippians 2:4 says. It says, "Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others." The verse right before that, verse 3 says, "Count others more significant than yourselves." And so we want especially to think and be careful about the members of our church family whom are most vulnerable at this time. Specifically, that means those who are 65 and older, but that also applies to many of our parents out there who are also concerned for their young children. And so we're trying to take a posture of considering others more significant than ourselves and thinking carefully about the most vulnerable in our midst. In addition to that, part of that is we're sending out a survey this weekend because we want to hear from you. We want to know what your concerns are. And so we're going to ask you a series of questions that will help us better assess and plan for how we can gather well whenever we're given the clearance to do so. Next, we're trying to be neighborly. We want to ask the question, how do our actions as a church affect our neighborhood? Are we being salt and light, a good witness to our neighbors? I'll give you an example of that. On Wednesdays and Fridays, as you know, we're able to distribute groceries in our church parking lot. On first and third Saturdays, we're able to distribute produce to the community in our parking lot. Those are very visible. People see us seeking to be generous, seeking to care for our community. So that's a positive witness. But at the same time, all of us are wearing masks. All of us are wearing gloves. And we have different procedures in place to maintain social distancing in line. And so that concern, that caution is part of our public witness as well, not only our generosity and care. And so we want to be neighborly. And then lastly, we need to be flexible. I think the term that was introduced in last week's sermon was dependent flexibility, right? We're prayerfully seeking the Lord and making plans, but also we're being flexible. We're willing to adapt. This is a season in many ways that we can try new things and reevaluate, right? So we want to be flexible, and we need you to be flexible with us. So be prayerful, be informed, be others focused, be neighborly, and be flexible. So this weekend, you'll be receiving the survey. I would love it if you would fill it out and get that back to us as soon as possible. Once we have that input, we will be able to just prayerfully make some decisions about when we will be able to gather again, whenever the shelter in place lifts for our county, but also how to do that well, how to do that thoughtfully. So thank you for your prayers. I continue to pray for all of you. I keep saying over and over again when I'm recording the sermons for Sunday and I'm just in an empty room looking at a camera like I am right now, man, I miss you guys. I miss gathering with the saints. I miss seeing your faces that's not on a Zoom screen. So just wanted to communicate that, but also as much as I miss you guys, I want to make sure that we move forward with wisdom, thoughtfully, prayerfully, taking into consideration everything, the information that's being given to us. So hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope this video is helpful. Look forward to hear back from you in the survey. But again, hope you have a great weekend in the Lord. Grace and peace to all of you.